Welcome back, aliens. This is Navin Reddy from Telusko Learnings, and in this video, we'll continue with the example of alert dialog. So what we're expecting from this video is, so let's say if I click on this show button, it will show my name. If I click on this show button, it will show my account number. And if I click on this show, earlier we were getting a prompt, are you sure? But let's say if I'm using my application, I want to, so if I want to make sure that only I will use that, only I can see the balance, not everyone else. So what we'll do is we'll ask the user to enter his username and password. If username and password is right, then if you click on this login button, it will show you the password. Otherwise, or it will show you the balance. Otherwise, it will not show you the balance. It will show some other balance. Example, in my account, let's say if I have 5,000. So what I will do, I will log in with my username and password. So what I'm checking here, if username and password is same, so Navin and Navin is my username and password. If I click on this login button, so if I click on this login button, it shows my password. But let's say in case of if user enters a wrong data, okay, so let's say this thing doesn't match, and if I click on login, so it will show the balance as 100. So the main intention of this video is to show you how to show an activity as a dialog, alert dialog. So you can see we have an activity here, right? So let's see how to do that in this example. Okay, so before starting with this, let me show you something. So I have already created an activity here, and in this activity I just created two edit text, which is username and password, nothing else, no buttons. As you can see, we just have username and password, right? And for this XML, we also have a Java file, but we are not doing anything in the Java file, so we will be not using that. So in total, we'll be using only 3 files. The first one will be the XML of main, which is this. This is what we have created in the last video. We have created the main for this and the XML for username and password. Okay, so we want to include this one into your activity. But how to create this activity? So what I have done, I have created a blank activity in which I have added two edit text. Quite simple, right? We have already done this in many of the videos. But there is some change. I don't want to create an activity which will cover the whole page. I want to create an activity which will take some small size. So I have made sure that I am using a linear layout in which I have specified the layout width as 300 dp and height also 300 dp. You can change it according to your need here. And yeah, so that's your XML which will be shown on the other activity. So let's get back to the main. Now in earlier video we have used builder design pattern, right? So we have seen how to use builder design pattern. So if you're still not clear with that, I would recommend you to watch my video. You don't have to do much. You just have to go to Google. You just have to go to YouTube and search for builder design pattern in Java, and you can just mention that my channel name, which is Telusko. So that's the video you have to watch. Okay, so that's one video, the first video and the second video. Okay, so first you have to watch the theory, which will take your 5 minutes, and then the practical, which will take your 8 minutes. So this is not just 13 minutes. It's worth watching. Okay, you will understand how builder design pattern works. Okay, so yeah, so now come back to this. So we have, what I have done here, so this is what we have done in the earlier video, right? So let me just make some changes here. So what are the changes I will make? The first change what I want here is, let me not set the value here. Okay, what I will do, I will just cut this part, the whole part. Okay, okay, let me just cut it here. What I will do, I will set everything after the builder object is created. So once we got the builder object, later we'll say builder. Okay, so it is builder dot, and then we'll assign all those things. So we have to say set message. So builder or set message, builder set positive button, or all those stuff, right? Okay. So on this thing, we don't want, we want to show any message. Okay, so we'll show a message. The message is not are you sure, the message is login, right? So we want to show login there. And what next? We want to change the positive button to, okay, what we'll set the positive button, we'll say, okay, the positive button is also, we'll set this message as login here, and we'll set the positive button as login, and the negative button will keep it cancel for this example. And I'm also using setCancellable false, which means if I click outside, it will not cancel the dialog. Okay, so what other things we require here? So once you click on this positive button, what should happen is it should call the view, right? But to do that, we have to first set the view. So once you set the message, we'll also set the view. So we'll say set view. Now what view to set here? So it is asking for the object of view, but unfortunately we have not created any view, right? Because it's not a normal dialog box, or it is not a normal alert dialog. It's a alert dialog which will show an activity. For that, we have to first create object of view. So we'll say view v equal to. Now here we have to include or fill our dialog box with a view, right? So we want to fill our, not fill, we have to fill our dialog with the help of this activity, right? For that, the term we use is inflate. Okay, so inflate means fill. So we have to use a term called as inflate, which means fill, Okay, now how to do that? So to use inflate, we have to use layout inflator, which has a method. So on which activity, so we have to mention it is on the main activity, you have to include that activity. So it will say main activity dot this. Then we have to mention, what we have to inflate. So we have to say inflate. You need to include this alert, this view. Okay, now how to do that? We just have to mention the first parameter as the view name itself. So we have to say r.layout.activity demo alert. So that's my view name, and then we have to mention null, because what was the parameter there? Let me just check. Okay, let me just verify it once again. So it's asking for two parameters if I'm not wrong. So it asks, okay, so let me say once again, so it asks for two parameters. One is the resource name, which is r.layout.demo alert. It is also asking for the view group, and unfortunately or fortunately we don't have any view group here, so we'll mention it null. So we'll say inflate. The second parameter is of course null, and the first parameter is r dot, okay, it's r dot, oh, what's happening here? So it's r dot layout dot activity demo alert, right? So that's the activity we have to show here. Okay, v is already booked, so we'll take view, and here in set view we'll pass that view object. Okay, so we have set the message, and then we are setting the view. So after setting the view, we are setting, okay, after setting the view, we are setting the positive button and negative button. So the alert dialog should show the message after the login, right? So once you click on this login button, which is there, so once you click on this login button, what it should do is it should check the username and password, right? Now to do that, what we have to mention is we have to first take those two variables which is entered by the user. So we'll say, okay, before that we need to do some more things. The problem is we have to provide the object for username and password, right? So for that we'll go here we can do inside this click itself. So here we'll create the object of username and password. So we'll say edit text, and we'll say this is username, which will be entered from the user. Well, I hope you know the object creation, right? So we'll say find view by ID, and here we have to mention it as r dot id dot username. Okay, now we need to create this after the view. It's because this username is not inside your main activity, right? It is inside activity demo alert. So we cannot say find view by ID. We have to say view, this object view, then find view by ID, because this username belongs to activity demo alert, right? In the same way, we have to create the second one, which is for password. So we'll say instead of username, we'll set the password, and we'll change this to password, right? Now once we have done that, once we got these two values, let's fetch the values from that. So we'll say string u, so we can have any variable name, right? So I'm specifying string u equal to, we'll say username, so that's username. So how we need to fetch the value, right? So we have to say username dot get text dot toString. So once we got the username, let's fetch the password. We'll say p, that is password dot get text dot toString. Now once we got username password, now we have to verify the username password. So we'll say if use u dot equals, if it is equal to Naveen, and so we have to apply and p dot equals, if the password is, let's say this is 00 4 zeros. So username is Naveen and password is 4 zeros. If that is the case, then only you have to display balance as 5000. Otherwise you can fool the other user. We can say else txt will not show any different or invalid login or something, which will just show the different data, let's say 100 rupees. Okay, so we have 5000 or 100. Okay, so that's just simple, right? Let's try it out. Let's see if it is working or not. And let me run this code on the emulator. So it will take some time to load. Let me just pause the video for the time. So it's opening. It will take some time to load again. And okay, come up. Okay, so we got our layout here. So let's click on show. It's working. Account number is working. As soon as I click on this show button, it is asking for the username and password. Let me enter Naveen, and the password is 4 zeros. And if I click on this login button, it shows the balance, right? And if I again do something else, if I enter some invalid username and password, so you can see it is not showing any error. It is just showing a wrong balance. So that's how we can include the activity on as an alert dialog. So yeah, that's it from this video, and the next video we'll talk about some different views. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any doubts, any comments, just comment in the comment section, and see you in the next video.